5 children, A, B, C, D, and E, take part in 5 competitions, V, W, X, Y, and Z, and then they score from 1 to 5 points. There's no ties, so nobody gets the same score in an event. We're going to have 1 to 5 in each of the columns, except obviously the total one. Child A scores a total of 24 marks, so I can start filling the table as I go. Child C scores the same in each of the 4 competitions. We're not given information on B. Okay, we'll come back to that. I'll just put a little sort of dot by it to remember that. D scores 4 in V, and E scores 5 in W and 3 in X. However, their overall positions are in alphabetical order, meaning that A must have come first, B second, C third, D fourth, and E fifth. So this is enough information to be able to fill in the table exactly, which is what we're now asked to do. So the first thing I notice is that to get the maximum anyone could get would be a score of 25 if they got 5 in all the events. Now there's no way that A got 5 in event W, so they must have got 4 in this event, and the remaining events they did must have been 5. So we can fill this out. Just make sure you explain that as you go. Now C scores the same in each of 4 competitions. There's no way they could have got all 5s because that's already taken. 2 4s are already there, so there's no way they could have got 4. If they had loads of 1s, then there's no way they'd come third because the maximum they could get would be 4 plus 4 lots of 1, so 8. So they'd be down here. If they got 2, we get a similar sort of issue. Now we'd have 8 plus 4, 12. So they couldn't come third with 12 points for similar reasons, because there's no way that E and D can have less. So it must be that C scored 3 in 4 of their events, meaning that these must be 3. And we don't know what X is. X is the event where they scored something other than 3. Now, it might be tempting at this point to try numbers out and so on, but we want more systematic, careful ways to do it. So let's recognize that there are 5 events and each one has 1 to 5 in it. So if I add up these, that gets me to 15. 5 events, each scoring 15, means the total of everyone's scores is going to be 75. Now, if I subtract 24, because we've already accounted for that, that leaves 51. So we've got to share 51 out between B, C, D, and E. Now, the minimum value that E could have got, minimum E score, is actually going to be 11, because they've got 5 and 3. So the lowest they could have scored in the other events would be 1. 5, 3, 1, 1, 1. So D scored more, therefore the minimum that they could have obtained would be 12. The minimum that C could have obtained would then be 13, and the minimum B could have obtained would be 14. If I add these up, I get 23 plus 27, which gives 50. So we're only 1 off the actual amount that we had. So I need to add 1 to one of the scores, and the only one that I can do it to actually is B's score. So B must have scored 15. Okay, this bit's a bit hard to write down and explain, but I've explained it verbally, so I'm just going to say it one more time. The minimum score that E could have obtained would be 11, but then the minimum D would be 12, and then 13 and 14. If we add these up, we get 50. That is 1 off our target. It must be that the highest score was 1 more, because we can't add 1 to any of the other scores, because then we would have ties. So therefore, E has 11, D has 12, C has 13, and B has 15, which means that E does fill the 1s here. Here we've got 12, so this must have been 1. So B must have scored a 2 here. Now we need to get a total of 13 from 4 numbers. That's going to mean we're going to have to put some 4s in. So I can't put, say a 2. I need to put 4s in here, here, and here. That takes me to 12, and then this would be 1. Then I can fill in the rest. That would be 2. I just need to maybe justify that. So um, that's the only way I'm going to get 15. Because put if I say put 2 here, then I wouldn't be able to get 15. I mean, I can't use any 3s, and as soon as I use another 2, I'm not going to get enough. So I'm just trying to justify why I have to put 4s here to get to 12, and then the extra 1 here to get to 13, and hence 15 in total. And the rest I can just see which one's missing. So 2, 2, 2, and 2. And this adds up to 12, so it all checks out. So I think the key is like get some starting information down, get the score for A, that is absolutely vital. And then the best approach is to then work out the total score and therefore what B, C, D, E add up to. And then it all kind of, came into place once we realized what B, C, D, and E individually got, then we could fill in the grid quite quickly. Well done.